with the Spurs foul. Should Miami go for the three right away? Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
Greetings, everybody. I am at MBAG, who is also known as Matty G from the Insight Podcast Network, with this NBA show for the Insight team. Joining me from the Insight team is this guy right here, Mr. Jake Skidmore at Filthy IFS, and a very special guest for today's mock draft. It's Mr. Alex Rikleen, all the way from the Boston area. How you doing, Alex?
Good to be here. You guys were doing some fun stuff, so I wanted to reach out and hop in.
Man, this is one of those fun ones. You and I know what this draft is all about. Let me share that screen straight away. But in the spirit of honesty for absolutely everybody, Jake Skidmore does not know what we're doing currently, and that's okay, Skiddy. You don't have to feel bad about it yet. But we're going to put the draft share up here. We're doing stacks, Skiddy. We're doing team stacks, and I'm giving you a stack for this draft that you don't know about. And I think you're going to do it because you're at number 12. And it all basically hinges. I'm going to give you yours on the fly, but I want to give you something that you're going to. And we're building team stacks because the schedule breaks this year in a very interesting way, and that no one's in detrimental. In fact, the only detriments, the biggest detriments, we were talking about this in the pre, is in week 20. Now, this is off the word of Dan Titus. Alex, when is a good magic number to finish your league this year? What date?
So you told me Titus's answer. I think I'd rather go to the end of March. I think I'd go through week, 23, 22, depending on what site you're on. Literally March 31st is where I think I would call it.
So looking at that as a week 22 end, his magic number, just to avoid, we're starting the draft off and we're in here right now. Biggest horse, McDell, is on the clock, number 1 from Insight. And he's obviously going to take Nikola Jokic with the number 1 pick. Titus's view was that you should wrap it up around week 21 before the silly season really kicks in. That's fair enough. If you go to week 22, there's no real detriments apart from in week 21 with the stacks theory. You do not want to touch any Charlotte Hornet or Cleveland Cavalier because they only have 2 games in your final week. So if you go that really high, you wanted to have that 3rd pick there. Alex, talk about why you want Shea this season.
I'm all in. I think I would take Shea and Halliburton over Embiid, which is a hottish take.
Yep.
I think it's a little. I think it should be only considered lukewarm, but it is certainly not the convention right now. I think that Embiid has his MVP, and there's no. That was clearly a thing motivating him for years. We should expect a small percentage drop, a 5% drop, but I think there's no reason to believe that his stats will improve. The only place that his stats can go is down, whereas Halliburton and Shea, both of them, I think can still improve. We're talking about stacks. I definitely want the Thunder teammates more than I want the Pacers teammates. Not just because they're better, but also because I think that they make for a compatible team. But also just like I think Shea's got it. I think he's gonna be a top 5, top 7 fantasy staple for the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm happy to be part of that, and happy to avoid a few rest games, and he's the one whose arrow's going up, whereas Embiid's the best case scenario is a recreation of last year.
Now, this bloke Cappy is going through. I am going to, if I can commission a draft him, I am trying to get him out. He was one of the guys yesterday who was in the draft and didn't do that, so we might have to order. He's probably going to auto pick the whole way through. Not a bad one though for Steph Curry at picking at number 8 with Steph Curry. I built an interesting one with him the other day. Giannis went at 7, Tatum at 6, and I took your other guy on your board there, Tyrese Halliburton, with the 5th pick, because I'm going to build a Pacers stack. Because I said it to Kingy, Adam King. I was like, look, I think the Pacers are a stack. They were the like the whole impetus for this like theory that I've had, because I've just new into the NFL space this year with a couple of the boys from the draft. So I was really looking into like where the schedule falls. And again, in week 21, the Hornets have 2 games, the Mavs have 2 games. The most of them have 3. There are 4-game weeks in there with Portland Trailblazers, Sacramento Kings. So a Kings stack isn't bad, but there's a lot of 3 and 4s, but there's only a couple of teams with 2s. In week 20, it's the Lakers and Minnesota. So you can, Anthony Edwards with the 10th pick for Phil. 9th pick there was Kevin Durant. That's very interesting. Now, this guy, LaMelo Ball, and obviously you have a Lakers stack. You're taking Davis. It's a Lakers stack. You've got to start with your Lakers stack. And who are your Lakers going to be?
Well, obviously, my decision is quite clear that I'm taking Anthony Davis with my first, and then there's no other Lakers to take right now, so I'm going to take best player available to pair with AD. Dame Lillard still there. I'm taking Dame. That's just I'll take those 2 there every day of the week. Dame, I still think is a first-round player. I don't worry about it. If he goes to Miami, I don't think it hurts his values. I think it hurts Bam more than anything, and maybe a little bit to Jimmy, but I still think Dame will still average his high 20s, get a few assists, and he'll probably be happier being where he actually wants to be, other than having to shoot 60 shots in Portland every game. So, but I'm not happy about this Lakers stack. I just want that to be well known.
Oh, no, I wanted to give you something you were going to hate. I know you do, and congratulations. That's why I gave it to you. Thank you so much, and I love that about you. But this is the thing, like sometimes it's just a theory, and we said not to take the Lakers for number 20, but then again, we want to talk about the stacks you can build to get you to the finals. And if you trade Anthony Davis off or throughout the course of the season, if he's having one of those MVP caliber runs like he did last year, what return can you get for that? You're going to be able to get an absolutely bloody sensational haul for MVP level Anthony Davis. Like you will be able to get another first round pick and something else, or a solid second round pick, knowing that you're playing that 2-game week in week 21. Week 20, I'm pretty sure it is for the Lakers. And that's not going to kook you come the end, because they only have 3 in the final week. Donovan Mitchell there goes to Phil at pick 15. Before that was Trae Young. So a couple of guards are going out. Now, obviously, this is where I start to look at my draft. And I've got the next pick up from my stacks. And again, all the boys from like Trent, who's drafting now, he's going to go and probably pick someone from OKC already. No, Jaren Jackson Jr., because that's a bit of a homer pick. This guy, Cap, we're going to have to wait for every single time. I wonder if I can skip his pick through. Can I advance his pick easy enough? No. I put him into auto draft.
Thoughts on Jaren Jackson early in the second round? Because I have been out saying that I'm out on him like early second, and I'd rather take him a little bit later just because there's more players that can get big block numbers this season. What's your thoughts?
I'm with you. I was going to consider Jaren at the end of the second or the start of the third. Yeah. But I was only doing that because I thought he was compatible with the other Thunder. I don't want to use my second round pick on Jaren Jackson. And I recognize I might be a little low on him, but that is my preference this year.
Because again, we've got to factor in the games where Ja Morant comes back, and that obviously weakens that value. So people are investing, I think, very heavily in this concept and this notion of Jaren Jackson Jr. being him for this 25-game stretch with Marcus Smart. But you still got Marcus Smart there. You still do have you've still got Desmond Bane there. So although he represented value with those high block numbers, and he's an excellent defender and a possible, defensive player of the year, I just think taking him too early is just a very aggressive strategy. Whereas I would probably take Domantas Sabonis over him just because of the well-rounded game, and that's going to probably feed me across more statistics more. Devin Booker is up on the clock.
Do you guys think that I was silly to be hoping for Sabo at 10?
Oh, yeah.
No.
10? I was hoping for it. You think that there was no chance he was making
No chance. Nope.
No
chance.
Right. Yeah, no chance. I don't think I've seen him go anywhere less than, at the next pick there. at the 10th pick in this round. I don't think I've seen him go less than 15, 6. I think
Yeah.
18 might be pressed once. Alex, I think.
So according to hashtag basketball's ADP, which is usually pretty good and pretty reliable,
Yep.
he's making it to the mid to late second. I mean, he's
really?
2.5.
Oh, me. Oh, geez. Oh, we're talking.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
really
hold on. I'm undoing. We're talking. Undoing last pick. Undoing last pick. I'm the commissioner. We're talking. You asked me a question, Alex.
Sorry.
I like this, Alex. Get him distracted. Make him stuff up his draft. This is fantastic work.
Love it.
I'm right there with you. I think it is the ADP, but I don't see him going anywhere outside where it is there. And also, by the way, I'm going to feed my. I know we don't talk about him. This is where I thought that's a nice pick there. This is where I'm feeding my stack next. I'm going to have to go in and. I'm not going to draft him now, but I'm going to put Miles Turner in my queue because this is another guy in those ADPs where if you're going to build a stack, they start to. I put him in there. I've said it. This cooked us yesterday, but like here's another one of those guys that, like you said, Alex, they're in that ADP zone, but they're going before their ADP more and more. So you've kind of, I think, got to be aggressive if you want to get your guy. You've lent Bam there with your second pick. Explain your Bam at 22 for me.
I think that. So I'm aiming for 3 of the 4 Thunder. I'm going to skip one of them.
Okay.
And I think that Bam is going to be very compatible with the team that I am building, assuming I am able to successfully do it, with the 3 out of the 4 that I am targeting. I don't want to tip my hands too much. I'll circle back on that.
Okay.
I'll leave some suspense for the later round. But also, I do think that I like where he's positioned. Like in terms of overall Bam value this year, late second, early third seems totally fine for me.
Yeah.
Are you not worried about Dame coming in and maybe taking a bit of Bam's value? Because a bit of Bam's value is the assist from the center position. So,
but I mean, those have already been down. Those are already much worse than they used to be.
That's true.
So, all right. And this is my pet pick that I'm just doing everywhere. Every time I think Walker Kessler should be a 3rd round pick. I appear to be on something of an island on this one as well, but
I think he's very much one of those. I think he's very much one of those guys though that's going around that. We valued Rudy Gobert the exact same way 2-3 seasons ago in the 3rd round. If you were getting that to a 3 years ago, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Gobert, huge pick, great field goal percentage, heaps of blocks, fuck, you're going to kill it." Now, if someone says that about the exact same guy, or pretty much statistically profiling same guy, because if he's second year in the NBA, it's like, "Oh, you're ludicrous. There's no sophomore going to be that great." Well, kind of is.
Drop J.
Oh, Reno with Mobley. There we go. No, I know who I'm getting this time. Here we go. It's going to be. I'm going to feed my stack. I'm starting to build that stack that I like, and the thing is that I like about the Pacers stack. I can cool my jets on that and aim for guys later on because there's a lot of I still put Buddy Hield in that stack because he's still wearing a Pacers uniform at this point of the draft.
I was going to ask how you were going to do that.
He's in a Pacers uniform as of now. I know he's going to be traded, but when that is, if it's going to be to the Lakers, it's not going to be until D'Angelo Russell becomes trade eligible. So therefore, I get him until like the trade deadline in February. That's fine. If he goes early, I still see Buddy Hield returning good value. Maybe not as high as he was in Indiana, but he is still very much, he profiles as a great. Look, I think this is where Larry Markkinen has finally slipped into the 3rd round this week, and that's a really good pick there for Spady. Mally's on the clock. So let's go back through some of these picks because I think that's important to have a look at. We had...
Can I just point out, the 1st round in this draft went almost exactly to my big board. Like,
really?
Like, yeah. Giannis went 2 picks too high for me. I have AD above LaMelo. I have Doncic where Embiid is. Otherwise, I think it's exactly my big board. Like, really, really close, which is just unusual. That the actual draft is so close. I had to point that out. Sorry. Not really.
No, go.
Sequitur at all, but...
Do your thing.
I am.
So you're high on Ann Edwards as a first round pick this year.
By the way, Skiddy, you're on the block. Sorry,
you're up,
Skiddy, you're on the block.
Yeah.
Is it LeBron? Is it LeBron? There it is.
Well,
yeah,
be,
good.
It?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, them's the rules.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, I don't want to have to reverse anyone else. Sorry, I was like, we're not going to do this thing where everyone keeps on stuffing it up for everybody. Can't do that.
While he's picking, I'll point out, I think Bane at 311 is pretty good value.
100%.
I'm happy to take Bane several picks before that. I have Bane very early in the third. In fact, I've only been in one mock so far where I missed Kessler in the early third, and Bane was who I went with in that draft.
I'm finding as well that Bane's kind of like he's going very, very like it's early third round, or he could go like halfway through the fourth. He's got a massive like discrepancy in each draft that you do. Most of the players you'll see will be like, roughly around the same area most of the time. But Baines is just going like start of the third round to the end to like mid fourth, and he's going. I've had him like drop to me at the fourth round. I went, hang on a minute, that's too late. I don't care what what I'm trying to do. I'm taking Bane there.
Yeah. At some point, you just got to snag value, and if you need to trade later, you do it.
100%.
So having a look back in here to round out those, we've had Chris Porzingis. We've had going out at 38. At 37 was Paul George. At 36, we had LeBron James. 35, Desmond Bane. 34, Pascal Siakam. 33, Jimmy Butler. 32, Victor Wembanyama. 31, De'Aaron Fox. And 30, just after my pick, was Larry Markkinen. And Phil Unfiltered is on the clock.
I'm loving that Pascal Siakam pick, by the way. I'm massive on Pascal this year. Really,
also, Jimmy Butler at 3.9 is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that was
a lot of these players, where they're swinging for upside, is just like you can get some good picks in the third and fourth round this year. Like if Kawhi's going at 4-5, that's if he stays healthy, like this is top 15. Like it's a no-brainer swing there. So and people like banking on Markkinen replicating what he did last year. It's a bloody good draft this year. I'll tell you that much. So we're in for a big year.
Drew Holiday. This is back almost to me. Mally's taken Drew Holiday, Kawhi Leonard. Again, this is a guy who's fallen in drafts, and you can get some really good value out of, I think, Kawhi Leonard this year if he's healthy and if he's going to play the games. So there's no guarantee of that. This is interesting where I'm going to go next.
So you thinking?
So I can.
Jalen Brunson.
Look, I've got a couple of guards up there. I've got Cade and Tyrese, so I'm looking okay. It's the 44th pick. I can really feed. I probably need some more points and threes, but I'm probably going to do something I might regret. I'm actually going to feed. I'm going to feed blocks, and I'm actually going to get Nick Claxton.
I think that's totally fair value for Claxton.
I think Claxton, because if I'm looking at my team, Cade Cunningham hasn't got the greatest field goal percentage. Tyrese does. Turner does. So I can buoy that up a little bit. Free throw percentage, I think right now I'm probably, yes, the dogs agree that it was an outstanding pick, as you can hear. Jamal Murray, if they're barking, it's got to be okay. That's all I'm saying. But now I'm looking at, who else can I get? Oh, there you go. There's that stack. There you go. See, now you're starting to stack that on. Love that Giddy pick. Love that.
Yeah. It's a little early, but if we're playing that I've got a stack, I can't count on getting both. Chet's already gone, I think. So Chet's
gone, yeah.
Let the cat out of the bag that I was not going to take him no matter what.
Oh, really? You weren't going to take Chet there? You weren't going to take Chet with the 48th pick?
No.
What about the 52nd pick where he would come back to you? No?
I didn't think he would last that long. I never had that thought process of 5.3. At 410, if he was there, I didn't think I wanted it.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I felt like if I was gonna do the stack, I had to use these two picks on these two guys.
Fair. That's fair.
Totally
I'd pay that.
And I look at the team that I've got. Well, I jumped the gun. I guess there's one pick before me still. Hopefully, Zoltan doesn't take Jalen Williams. I look at the team that I've got here, and I've got a ton of assists, some excellent field goal percentage, some pretty good steals. I think I'm in pretty good spot. I'm basically a punt threes, and I might end up punting points. Is sort of where I'm at right now. I think with this, and
I think
Bam works perfectly for punt three. To go back to Bam works perfectly for punt threes. He continues Shea, Giddey, Williams. All of them are good assists. None of them are Harden. None of them are going to get me that 10, but put enough of those guys together and you can have a way above average team.
100%.
So Bam helped with that. And he helped with the punt threes element. I'm worried about Chet's health. I am optimistic about Chet as the player. I think Chet he looks like he's going to be good. He looks like he's going to be fun. He's going to do that on other people's teams this year. Rookies have a learning curve. Rookies we sometimes get wrong. This is a team that is probably going to be going for the playoffs, and I think actually should make them.
100%.
So he won't have the same leash that even he would have if he had been healthy last year. I hope that he exceeds my expectations because that's more fun. But nothing against him, but he's not. He's not going to be on my rosters when he does.
Yeah, no, that's very fair enough. We've got Şengün going off there, DeMar DeRozan, Franz Wagner, Nikola Vucevic. I took OG Anunoby because Zion Williamson was stripped from me there, right there. But coming up to the 60th pick now with Şengün, I know that you're offering Paolo Banchero there at the 58th pick. The gem is coming up. What's the Gemini going to do for us? We'll find out. And then you've got a bit of an LA stack happening, just in general.
Yeah. Well, you told me to go for bloody Lakers, so chuck the Clipper in there.
Are you allowed to take a Clipper? Well, look, Paul George is a Laker by heart. We all know it. He can wear the Clippers uniform as much as he wants. Brandon Ingram going off there at 59.
Care enough about the Clippers for that to count as a rivalry.
Yeah, they do need
they
to
really
play
don't.
A little bit better.
As I went to Boston, I don't know how much you know about American colleges. We are recording this on a Saturday after all.
This is fair.
My college, Boston College, we consider Notre Dame our rival. I don't even know if Notre Dame knows that. So, hey, calling the Lakers Clippers a rivalry is, I think, doing some favors to the Clippers.
Well, I think when they get there, when Bama gets that new arena in town and everything, they get the name for themselves as the big stars. It'll be fun, but it's just the Lakers are entrenched, I think, in the Los Angeles DNA at this point. It's the Lakers, and it's really nice to have another team, and you can pat them on the back all you want. But until the Clippers actually, look, it's the Clippers. No one's people are giving away season tickets for these guys sometimes because they never know who they're going to get on the court. I don't know if the 65 game rule is going to help it or not. You took Julius Randle on the turn back after Tyrese Maxey. Nice little picking up there. Jake Skidmore.
Julius too.
Former Laker, Julius Randle in the spirit. And who knows? DeAndre Ayton could be a Laker. Who knows? No one wants to have anything to do with DeAndre Ayton. Leaning into, this was a stack, one of the other very interesting stacks that we can get going on. The Phoenix Suns stack, if you have a tail end. So, Skiddy, the other one that we were going to actually labor you with, and you actually would have seen this work out for you, is a Phoenix Suns stack. I want to do a draft of one of those guys because you could have gone at the end of that round Kevin Durant if he was still available late. You could have got Devin Booker back on, and you could have picked up on those two turns there, Bradley Beal and DeAndre Ayton. So there is an argument to be made that you could very much get one of those blokes. Oh, son of a bitch, Spady.
Also, too, in saying that, in a couple of days' time, you could be, instead of looking at DeAndre Ayton for your Phoenix stack, you could be looking at Yusuf Nurkic at pick 112. So that also would be very good for your Phoenix Suns stack.
Am I going to get who I didn't get yesterday?
If the Phoenix Suns trade Ayton I'm not the biggest Ayton fan. I think that he can't, he's a bit of a weak dog when he comes to trying to get rebounds and everything like that. But come on, Yusuf
What?
Nurkic? Oh, my. Oh, you can
Yeah,
do better
that's
than
not
that,
a
Phoenix.
vibe.
You can do better than that, Phoenix.
I took Kyle Kuzma because I am invested in the Kuzma season, and I didn't do it yesterday when I wanted to, Skitty. And I'm not getting really stressed about any other pacer for my Pacers stack yet. So I can get my Pacers who I want to target later. On my next 2 rounds, I can draft a couple Pacers in to feed that. I was tossing up between Middleton and Kuzma. I've gone Kuzma because, like you know, I think Chris Middleton is one of the safest bets in NBA fantasy around this round. Like this is in this round, I think Chris Middleton is an very averagely pat on the back, well played kind of thing. I think he's just safe as houses. Brano's taking him there. Alex, you're on the clock. Is there anyone you're looking to in a stack right now? Because I guess those are the main guys that you've pretty much taken off the board. You can get someone late, but I think it's 3 is my stacks minimum, by the way. So in my stacks rule, 3 is a stack.
Oh, really?
3 players. I think 3 is 3 is a stack for me because you've got a couple of guys coming up that you're going to have to make decisions about, Skitty. And I'm talking about Reeves and D'Angelo Russell back at the tail end of your draft because that's about where their ADPs are falling in alignment for them. Derek White, is it a Homer Boston pick there, or do you really think there's that potential for a bigger season for him?
No, I actually, other people had to convince me on him. When in my first pass of rankings, I was much lower on him, and I did my first couple mocks in early August, the way too early crew. And a couple of the other analysts were taking Derek White around this range, and it made me do another double take and be like, you know what? I actually think with Marcus Smart gone, with Brogdon's injury history, I actually think that this could work. Again, it's someone I maybe would have rather wait a little bit longer, but I think he fits the stack. I'm officially leaning into the points part of this as well, which is part of this next pick.
Tyus Jones picking up there, by the way, at 75. You've gone, that's definitely... Look, there again, this is in Walker Kessler 1.0, Rudy Gobert at pick 75.
They go together. You know, I wouldn't do it in a roto league, but this is a head-to-head league. So, I think White's really well positioned, and the end of the 6th round is fine value for him. At this range, I would normally be taking probably Anthony Simons, but I'm punting threes, and a lot of his value comes from threes. So I actually
need some of those. So I'm looking at that. I was going to actually pick up Simons, but is it too early for Scoot? This is a day off the trade. I'm going to go Devin Vassell because I've kind of gone this over. I'm going to go Vassell just because around pick 77, it's kind of, I'm expecting the season for Vassell that he could have had last year, not being the ball doesn't have to run through him as much this season. Obviously, Wembanyama is going to get a lot of the attention. I think it's a solid pick there. But this is where Scoot Henderson, we're on the cusp of like Dame going any day now, and just the pathway for minutes for Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, and Scoot Henderson to be there. I'm just very curious to see who they get back because they need a point guard. Who are they getting back? If it's Tyler Hero, Simons' value is diminished and Sharpe's value is diminished. Scoot Henderson will still be the main primary ball handler and the point guard of the team of the future. So that's where he gets his value, being the primary distributor in the Portland Trailblazers. But if they get back a point guard, like if something wacky happens and they get a point and some random Philadelphia 76ers trade happens with an unhappy James Harden and he ends up over there, because it works in the trade machine, by the way. If you add someone with him, it works in the trade machine, especially with Tsunami Papi in town over in Philadelphia. You can play around with that. And we all know that he's unhappy. So for me, this is where Scoot is really coming into he's got to be in the top 100 conversation already, just with that being the rumor. Tsunami Papi. For Kelly Oubre Jr.
I forgot about that nickname. That's great.
So hot.
Skitty. If I say Tsunami Papi, Skitty has to take 5 minutes in the bathroom. Grant went off after Vassell, Clint Capella, CJ McCollum, Terry Rozier, good pick there. Phil Unfiltered went Draymond Green. Jem is up to the 83rd pick, and you're going to take us up to pick 84 with your stack, which you don't have a stack anymore. But because I'm building a stack, I'm going to queue up my next guys and my next targets for a Pacers stack because I want to talk to the Pacers stack, being Bruce Brown, being, I think, a top 100 player very easily this season. He's definitely got a role there, and he's someone who's falling outside the top 100. I just know a lot of, there you go, Anthony Simons, good pick there.
Actually, can you redo that one? I didn't mean to take it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I can. No. It's you called it early.
He was like, "Ha."
Sorry, I pressed the wrong one.
I just want you. Oh, okay, Miles Bridges, and now if you take him now, and you made me undo that, I'll kick your ass.
No, because I've got to keep the stack going, and I don't want D'Angelo Russell, so I'll take Austin Reeves there.
There you go. There's your stack. So your stack now is completed with 3 guys in the stack.
Great value on Reeves.
Shout out Matrix. Yep. I know that he's fighting me on it every single time, and he thinks D'Angelo is going to be better than Reeves. No, I think it's Reeves.
That's a bad take. Who's making that take?
And they're handcuffed to each other too. Russell. These two guys are handcuffed to each other. I think D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves are better apart. Like 100% better apart, like from a basketball fit standpoint. This is why D'Angelo Russell getting out of there and a Buddy Hield or someone else coming in is going to just unlock Reeves' potential even more. So Simons, Gafford, Trey Murphy, and John Collins has gone off the board there. Cap's going to be laughing about that one. Marcus Smart, they're flying this round. Am I going to pick him up? Am I going to be able to do this?
Who are you thinking?
Well, if Spade doesn't take him, I think taking Scoot Henderson with the 92nd pick makes sense at this point in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Like, is my upside? Do we think the
last round? This round, I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I was. I think it was too early, but can I get him back on the next one? Ooh,
probably not.
No, probably not. Because Alex is there going like, no, please don't take it. No, I will take Scoot Henderson. It's just way too much upside for me in potential right now. At pick 93, we're all in this draft room. We're all hearing the same NBA information and news. Like, the guy is going to be the number one ball handler there. Klay Thompson, excellent pickup around the in the 90s. He's gone back in drafts into the 110 zone. So I'm a big fan of Klay from 90 to 110. He really feeds you in a lot of ways right there. And also I've kind of my field goal percentage is all over the place. So I'm just leaning into best build and best available right now. And it falls to you there, Alex.
So this is another one where if I wasn't leaning heavily into a stack, I would absolutely go Buddy Hield right now. But I'm stacking away from threes. So, and I need a forward. I have not taken one yet. Round 8 was my first forward eligible player.
Wow.
Jalen Williams, I guess actually Jalen and Giddey are both have forward eligibility, but they're not normally forwards. But Kessler and Bam and Gobert are all center only. So I had a very guard and center heavy team. So I needed a forward. PJ Washington fits the punt perfectly. I think he's got a ton of value. I really like PJ.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was really a smart play. There you go. I know you're high on Wiggins this season at 95, yep. D'Angelo Russell at pick 96, and then Big Horse is coming back around on the bench here. Good draft from Big Horse and good picking. Oh, he's... Buddy Hield's gone. That kills my stack there.
D'Angelo Russell get taken before Buddy Hield has just got... It just doesn't look right to me. I don't like that. It looks shit. No.
That's incredible value on Buddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that was where my next pick was, and I was tossing up there. Like, I wasn't going to get Scoot back. Buddy Hield was my stack guy. Mark Williams, I like. I just don't know what it represents right now until I see a preseason game in Charlotte. I just want to see how it shakes out with their rotations this year. Shaden Sharp off the board to you there. Another one of those Portland upside blokes.
Exactly. I love the upside. At pick 100 is where I'd start taking my big upside swings. I don't care if he fits my stack anymore. I want that potential on my team. I want to talk about your Scoot over Buddy Hield thing, because I think we can mine a lesson out of this, which is you go into your draft with a plan, and that's good, that's helpful, but you need to be able to adapt. Scoot Henderson is usually going to go before 92. I am the biggest anti-drafting rookies early person that exists.
Yeah,
but at 92, that's where I start saying, okay, actually the value on this guy is too good to pass up. I know I had a plan, but I have to modify. And so Yeah, it
Yeah,
messes up your
100%.
stacking. You're going to have to play with that later. But I think we can mine like a useful example out of this.
Oh, 100%.
For the listeners that like you do have to be flexible in your drafts. I think Buddy Hield should have gone before whatever pick he just went at, before pick 97. But
Yeah.
also, Scoot Henderson's not going to drop to 92 in every draft, and it's
No
totally
way.
fair to adapt and take that when it comes to you.
And Mally's taken Bruce Brown, which means I am going to take. I am going to have to scramble for that now, because this was another guy, Bruce Brown, that's gone off there at pick 104. He would have gone at. Sorry, 103 was Bruce Brown. 102 Zach Collins. I took Jalen Duren because I've got a mini surprise stack. I really like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren together, and I needed to buoy that field goal percentage and block shots a little bit. I've got to pretty much do it all build going on right now in this 2 center league, and so I've got that now with a bit of the only thing with my centers that I don't like is there's no position flexibility for them, and I like my centers to be power forward eligible as well. These guys aren't, but I did want to toy with a mini Pistons stack of those 2 guys because I want to try and get Ivy late. I'm not going to say like if I can get him or not. I will put him in my queue because I'm toying with this little triple play of Ivy and Duren and Cade as a potential added stack in there. The thing is this, though, I think the lesson, talking about mining lessons, we probably you can't stack too many teams at one time. So now I have to positionally go like, oh, maybe I'm not going to be able to make my Pacers stack. Maybe I can go my Pistons stack. And there's Duren, Ivy, and Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. I really like Duren as a player for the long term. Oh, I love Robert Williams.
Time Lord, baby.
Yeah.
Incredible pick at 108.
100%. I mean, it's all depending on. I'm not I know that they need Horford on the floor basically to, because he can switch out on the perimeter and just give that kind of thing that Porzingis and Williams can't really do. And I'm not sure how they're going to go together, but I'll still take that swing on Time Lord over a pick 100 every single day of the week. That's blocks, that's rebounds, that's high field goal percentage. Doesn't kill you in free throw either. He's got a little bit of passing to go with as well. So, yeah, big on Time Lord. Shout out to my cousin Brendan. It's his favourite player. So, hell yeah.
Ooh, Simmons.
You took my
like that
guy with Simmons. He's
He is absolutely perfect for your stack, isn't he?
I'm high on Simmons this year. He's back. I'm in on him. So anytime it gets past 100, if you're sitting there waiting for Simmons in the 110s, 120s,
on Josh Hart, good picking. Do I? Okay. No one else is here right now that can see that. My queue is out of sync. Oh no! Mally took Trey. Mally has sniped me. I love you, Matt. I love you, Mally, but he's taken now Trey Jones. He's taken Bruce Brown from me. The last 2 picks, I just can't trust the bastard. Keegan Murray. Do you look good to me, Keegan Murray? You do look a little bit good.
Yuck.
Yeah, I know, but I do like him. Look, I've got Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson's a look for me. I think Keldon Johnson. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Keegan, I think. No, look, I'm going to take Jaden Ivey and complete a stack because that's the name of this draft is stacks. I'm going to complete the stack, and at 116, I don't know if it's value positionally, but I do need some more points and threes. And I think Jaden Ivey playing off the ball this year is actually going to be decent in Detroit. I don't know why. I have a feeling it's going to work, and I feel that he's been slept on a little bit in drafts. And so for me, he's going to be a guy that I pick up late. It's probably too early there at 117, but Keegan Murray off the board straight away next. So there was else I was looking.
If you had walked up to me in June and just asked me to guess Jaden Ivey's ADP, I would have guessed earlier than 116. So I think it's fine value.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I agree with you. I'm 100% there, but I think he's being slept on. People aren't even. I saw him go in 138 the other day. So I'm like, can I get that guy later? It doesn't mean I value him any less. I mean, I value him no less. Oh, some rookie upside. The first of the Thompson twins off the board there for you. Are you going a Thompson twin stack, Alex?
Oh no, I'm. That would be fun. Oh, Herb Jones. I'm not loving some of these people who are. I really thought I'd get another chance at Herb Jones. I thought I'd get another chance at Ben Simmons. There's some things I'm not liking
here. Paul Reed going off the board. Horse is drafting very well. I like that. Keldon Johnson. I like this.
I'm staring a little bit on Reed now, Matty, after Kelly Oubre signing to Philly.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Oh, and Asua Thompson. Ooh, okay.
I'm a little worried about the what's going on in Minnesota, and so I like having. I don't usually handcuff in basketball, but I don't mind it with Gobert. Getting someone who directly benefits from if Gobert is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe he's still on the board because I need another point guard to help give me some of these assists. I'm going to have to go Mike Conley with 125th pick.
Oh, yeah. Great pick.
Sorry,
like
Alex,
Mike Conley's still sitting on a board.
Sorry, Alex, if you're worried about Gobert going down and you choose Kyle Anderson, why wouldn't you go Jaden McDaniels? I just want to know the difference.
More one-for-one swap, better mesh with the stack, I think. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I overlooked it.
Yeah, so you're probably leaning more for the assist from Anderson rather than the defensive stats from McDaniels.
I'm not convinced. McDaniels is still in the bucket of, I think he might be better at real basketball than fantasy.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
And Slow-Mo, we know that he can put together a good fantasy profile, especially if you don't care about points.
Yep, that's very fair. Yep, absolutely. I'd rather take personally, I'd rather take the defensive upside swing on McDaniels, who showed us last year where he was having games where he was averaging he had 3 steals and 4 blocks in a game. Like, I would much rather try and take that. But then again, it may work. Sidetrack, I hate that Brandon Miller pick. I hate that Brandon Miller pick too. Any drafts.
At pick 131, we're gonna quibble with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Look, if you were going in the 90s, I'd be right there with you. But the point of these picks is upside, and that is upside. So
that is upside, and we've still got 3 rounds to go. So we've got there's 3 rounds of upside to go at the end here. Whereas, there's guys here that I'm gonna lean into. I think for upside. Because after pick, I guess 144, there's let's say 12 teams, 12 players. That's where they start to go. And there's your points that you're looking for, and your field goal percentage is buoyed with Mr. Barrett. Yep. So I think that buoys you very nicely there. Who's your biggest sleeper so far that you've seen, Alex? And just doing some mocks and playing around. Who's one of the guys who you see as you've mentioned a couple of lads? Who's someone else that you're just cheeky keeping your eye on to see where they settle coming into the draft?
So Herb Jones, who I mentioned a moment ago, I mean, I passed on him, but I also thought he would last. I feel like his ADP hasn't appropriately reacted to the Trey Jones injury. I feel like we're still drafting, or Trey Murphy, sorry. I feel like we're still drafting Herb as though Trey Murphy were healthy.
Yeah.
But the Trey Murphy injury should actually be a huge boost to Herb Jones. And so that's a late one who I'm interested in. I picked him, but I like Houston Thompson twin. I like the upside. Who knows what's going to happen there? But I like the upside there. Let me take a look at some of these. Herder, the Kings is not a rotation. I feel like I have a good handle on, but if he gets minutes, that's going to be a great pick in the late 120 or whatever he went at. Jonas Valanciunas is another one. He just went in this.
Asua Thompson's going.
Yeah.
Asua Thompson's going as well. Oh, they did too. I just saw A. Thompson on there. Oi. Yeah.
Jonas went at 113. I don't think his per game value has ever been that low.
No. He just needs the minutes.
Yeah.
But then again, Patty Williams.
Patty Williams. Look, that's theoretically, it's he can do it.
It fits the profile of the team. That's a profile fit for me. The other guy I was leaning for was a Pacers stack was Bojan Bogdanovic, who just went off the board to you, Alex. I was looking at that one for my last Pistons because you snared Obi Toppin, you bastard, Jake Skidmore. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Because I pick him up in drafts all the time, and with 2 picks to go, I thought I could get him, but I could not get my stack, so I had to lean away. And Benedict Mathurin was the other one. Zoltland's gone and taken him, so my Pacers stack has gone out the bloody window. And thank God I made the Pistons one happen. So I managed to make a Pistons stack, which I never wanted to do. I thought I'll toy with this one as a cheeky little side one, but as you said, you got to mine away the knowledge from it. And what are you going to do at the end of the day? You just got to lean in somewhere else. So that's what I've had to do. And
well, there's one more Piston you could get. I think justifiably. Pacer.
Yeah.
There's one more Pacer I think you can justifiably draft.
Yeah. Here we go. All of my Pacers left on the board.
If you're high on Obi Toppin, you're probably lower on him.
Nope, yeah. I'm the other way around.
Yeah, I'm
higher on Jarris. I'm higher on Jarris Walker. I just think they're going to start.
Why did you take Jarris, you bastard? You took my guy. They are going to start Obi. He's the guy.
Yeah,
what are you doing? You should have taken Jarris.
No, but why would I take?
I want to take Jarris Walker over Obi Toppin. Then you take Obi Toppin. I'm high on him.
No, I said I like Jarris as a basketball player more than Obi Toppin, but right now he's got the minutes, or assumingly he's got the minutes. So I'm not going to take I'm not going to take Jarris Walker now. But if they come out and say, "Hey, it's going to be a minute split between Jarris Walker and Obi Toppin," I'm taking Jarris Walker every single day of the week. He's got a better fantasy profile, and he can play defense unlike Obi Toppin. So I'll do that. But until I see it, I'm taking Obi ahead of Jarris. So don't get your knickers in a knot. All right.
My knickers are knotted. My knickers that I'm not wearing are knotted.
There's actually 2 Indiana players still available that you could have drafted.
I've still got 2 picks left. I think I might. Colin Sexton about now is just going to do a lot. There's 2 draftable players. Look, I've still got. With the last name,
you met
Isaiah Jackson. I did. Though I did just have. Who did I have in my queue a second ago? I'm actually liking Malcolm Brogdon, but actually Bogdan is still on the board, and I actually don't mind that for me. He's still around, and he's still going to have a role there at pick 149. Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to be able to give me assists, steals, points, and threes as possible 6th man of the year, maybe. This is a guy who's profiles well, and he's going to, I think, be a trade chip for Atlanta this year, possibly. So there is some upshot. By the way, I've just put in Bog, and it's wonderful to see Australian legend Andrew Bogut still possible to be drafted, and I am leaning that for my last pick.
Yeah, I've soured on Atlanta Bogdanovic just due to health, but I've been high on. I was high on him for years, and I think I just got sick of being a little too high on him and overcorrected. But that's as much like a personal thing as actually based on logic.
Basketball, and I think for me,
pick 149. That's great.
And it's great for that. Dylan Brooks was the other guy there you can look at and pick up a lot of points and 3-pointers at the end. As well, after that one, Denny Advia, Kevin Porter Jr., Malcolm Brogdon, coming back up to Phil Unfiltered. This is a fun draft. Trying to make a stack is really fun. I don't know if it's successful yet. I think you definitely need to target your guys, go early, and know the build that you want in advance. Lessons with only our last picks to go for stack builds for this first stacks draft. What do we think we can make out of it? What are our lessons we're learning, good and bad?
I don't know if it's a lesson about it, but I think a lot of people in fantasy basketball kind of fear stacks. And when you sent me the list of possible ideas for this show, the reason I chose this one is we don't need to be afraid of stacking in fantasy basketball.
Agreed.
This was a thing in fantasy football for years. And then sort of with the rise of DFS, that ended in fantasy football, but it still hasn't really ended as much in fantasy basketball. We don't have to be, the correlation might not be as strong as it is in other sports, but every assist does lead to points. These teammates are not competing with each other. I mean, if you get a guy in his backup, maybe they're competing with each other, but Jalen Williams and SGA are not competing for minutes. They are teammates. They are connecting on passes. They benefit. They are not going to. We shouldn't be avoiding one because we have the other. And so it's sort of an aside. It's not exactly answering your question, but I think this exercise is fun to talk about, hey, stacking can work.
Yes. I think it really can. You just need to have your targets in your team. I guess in fantasy world, like, this, Skitty, homers. You're a Cleveland Cavs fan. If you want to build a homer pick around the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are you taking?
Well, it just depends on where they kind of fall. But, Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
in the second round, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley are probably the two main ones that I'd be looking at if I was going home. But I think they've got a bit of upside, especially if you can get them late third, early fourth for Darius, and then like mid fourth for Mobley. I know a lot of people are going a bit earlier on Mobley. If I'm doing like the really late homer pick, I mean, Karis LeVert's there, but it's like, he's coming off the bench. I think he still might get some minutes. Especially if Rubio's not there, he may actually be handling the ball in the second unit. There's Strus goes in the last round, which I'm not keen on. All he does is shoot throws and doesn't do anything else. So I'm souring a little bit on Jared Allen to actually where he's being taken. I've seen him go really late some drafts and then early some other ones. So the Cavs they're a real weird one this year with where they're all getting drafted. So I'm excited to watch them actually play basketball. I think they'll be very good.
I'm going to take Jarris Walker, by the way. I'm on the clock for my last pick, and I've got Jalen Johnson and Quentin Grimes on my queue. I love Jalen Johnson there, but I reckon this is Brain's pick. If he doesn't take this for our last... There he is! Hey! Picking it!
100% he's taking him.
He's taken. That's a homer pick because you've got an Atlanta Hawks stack. He's a Alex. That's SC Brain from the Insight team. He's a massive Atlanta Hawks fan. The mastermind. So he's definitely taken a Hawk there with his last one. Who are you looking for your last pick, Matt?
I reacted to the crazy Russell over Reeves take because are we sure Russell's going to outperform this guy?
Very good point.
With the 166, Gaby Vincent,
the best point guard on the LA Lakers.
It's a big call.
I don't know if he'll get the most
that a
minutes.
take?
Yeah, but it's not a bad
I don't know
shout.
if he's going to get the best minutes. I don't know if he's going to be. If he's gonna be the better fantasy player, but if I'm making a team, I would rather Vincent.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent, 100%. That was actually really super fun. Do you want to talk us through your team? I'll go down top to bottom for you there, Alex. Your goal was to try and make an OKC stack, obviously, because you asked for the third pick. So talk us through your team.
Yeah, I love SGA at 3. I perfectly happy. I would be happy to take him at 2. I would rather take him at 3, but I love that. Knowing that I was going to be leaning into the punt threes, I went with 2 bigs. I do think there are other years we've talked about it more. Centers are sort of a scarce resource, more so in 2 starting center leagues than in 1. But getting 2 reliable centers, so I never have to think about that again. Pretty pumped about that. And with Kessler alone, I know that I can win blocks many weeks, maybe not all, but many. Finish the stack with Gideon Williams. Probably a slight reach on both at 4'10 and 5'3, but kind of in range, on the early end of the range, but in range for both. I really like both players. They're both, this is a third-year player and a second-year player who have shown that they belong on the NBA level, and
100%.
that they are staples of this team going forward. And both of them can pass very effectively, so I'm very excited about that.
Which Jalen would you like more, Jalen Williams or Jaylen Brown?
At cost, Jalen Williams. I think you still got to go Jaylen Brown over Jalen Williams for fantasy, just like head to head. But a round later, I would definitely rather Jalen Williams.
100%.
If I can get Jamal Murray, who went at 2 picks before Jaylen Brown, and pair that with Jalen Williams instead of Jalen Williams or Jaylen Brown and OG Anunoby, I like the Jamal Murray Jalen Williams pairing much better. As just like an example with players on this board. got something resembling a real starting point guard with Derek White.
Yep.
got more blocks with.
That's not shade on Derek White at all. That's not shade at all at Derek White.
No, he will play the role of starting point guard. He's not a traditional starting point guard, but he resembles
Helen Mirren is a great actress. She could play the role of anything. Who knows?
I want to sort of mention Sharp and Houston Thompson, Osar. I'm getting them a lot, both of them.
Yep.
I think Sharp in the ninth round in the late 90s, early 100s, his upside is so big.
Huge.
Yeah, I might drop him. Like, yes, that is a possible outcome. But of all of the players who could jump from 95 plus into the top 60, top 50, like, he's got to be high on the list, right? Of people who have that upside in their game.
We talked about opportunity, and there's an opportunity in Portland. Again, it's all about I think we called it out. It's the assets they get back. That's not, I guess it's not scary. We just don't know it. It's like this big shroud of mystery about what they get back. And if there's not, do we really think Jeremy Grant is going to be the superstar in Portland, even though they just paid him the bag? Like, he's more likely to be traded out the door down the way for some stupid contract if they're clearing house. And you're right, man. They were high on Sharp, and when they let him loose last season, he was insane.
And I'm not that worried when it comes to Simons and Sharp. I'm not that worried about the return package because Portland doesn't want to bring back a guard. They have been very clear that they want Sharp and Scoot to be their future. If they're bringing back a guard, they're going to be passing that guard on quickly. They're more likely to bring back a wing, a big. So I'm really not that worried about the return. I'm more worried about the return package for Jeremy Grant than I am for Sharp and 100%. Simon. For Sharp, 100%. I'm just worried about, can he be consistent and get the minutes? And then, I try to balance my last couple of rounds with upside picks and boring safe guys. So Detroit Bogdanovic is pretty boring and safe. Doesn't really match my build, but I thought he was a good value. Very safe and perfect for my build. Gabe Vincent, if he does pass Russell on the depth chart, which if I were the coach, would. Then there's a lot of opportunity. Or he's my first drop. Like these last picks are upside. So that's sort of
100%
my thinking going through it.
Filthy.
I will not win points a single week.
That's great. But you're winning a lot of other stuff. There. You've got us all, and you have a really nice draft. I actually like how it shook up. I actually think the Lakers draft and how you filled that out. The Lakers stack for you, actually very serviceable. Very serviceable.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm just a little bit worried about LeBron James's games. He's already said he's not going to play them all, so that's just kind of already a red flag there. But round 3 for LeBron, per game, he's still going to be LeBron. So I'm kind of happy with that there. So what we got: Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, LeBron, Paul George. So my thing stopped being a pain in the ass.
Not just round 3, but the last pick in round 3.
Exactly right. Yeah. So pick 36.
At 36, that's
Yeah. He's still going to be returning. He'll still probably be returning better than overall value than 36 anyway. So it's always going to be good. We have Tyrese Maxey, Julius Randle, Miles Bridges. Hopefully he gets out of the league soon. Austin Reeves, who I am higher than on D'Angelo Russell, but he's still a little foul merchant bitch, so that's fine, no worries. But he's good for fantasy, so I will take him there.
He's very good for fantasy.
Time Lord there, I'll take that all the
100%.
time. I'll take that gamble. That's a high return. Hopefully, is his knee better, Alex?
Probably not.
Sweet,
probably not.
No worries. That could be a bad pick, but that's okay. I'll just drop him if need be. Ben Simmons, who I am always higher on a little bit more than others, but that's okay. I'll back in that he can return. I don't think he's going to get back to all-star level Ben Simmons, but top 50, top 60. I mean, why not? That Brooklyn team is the best opportunity of a team that he's going to have probably in the rest of his career to return it. So I think this is the year that he's got to. RJ Barrett, that's just a points upswing because I'm not punting points. So I was like, bugger it, I'll get some extras. Obi Toppin, Steven Adams, Kelly Oubre Jr. Yes, I chose Kelly Oubre Jr. because he's hot. But also, too, if I had, if he gets a starting small forward spot and they put Tobias at the power forward and let PJ, just rest it because he's 50 years old, sweet. I'll take Kelly Oubre's 1 steal with 18 points and 2 threes a game. No worries there. That's absolutely fine with me.
Yep.
And Steven Adams, if I'm getting Steven Adams with my second last pick, who can get 10 rebounds a game in his sleep, just in case Time Lord gets injured or something like that, and if he's dog shit, I drop him. Like that's no worries. I'm happy to take him there.
So
100%.
Oubre is still only 27, and we've seen him do it. Like, we know he can put together some numbers. And just to push back on one thing you said, if Williams, you'll drop him. You're not going to drop Williams. There's no point you'll never drop Williams. You might have him on your IR a lot. But
sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
But it's an important distinction, though, because
you're correct.
It dramatically increases his value. The downside of a lot of these late picks is that you drop him. Robert Williams doesn't take up a roster spot.
You got to make sure you have the IL. You need to make sure, and you need to know your rules in your league. If you have an IR spot, you have an IL spot, you can put him in there. If you don't, that's where I think the distinction is. You have to drop him, especially if it's a long-term injury, and that's good. That's where it definitely brings that down for you. But you're spot on. If you've got an IR or IL, that's just you just got gold out of that, Skiddy.
Yeah, he's one of the most productive per minute players in the league. He only if he's healthy enough to be playing, he's playing 20 minutes. And if he's playing 20 minutes, he's performing at top 100 value.
100%.
So
you are correct.
The risk is way lower.
Yeah, thank you for catching me on that. Yeah, if he's IL, if you have IL, he'll probably be there. But obviously, 100%. I'm not just dropping Robert Williams for nothing. No, correct.
Which is great. It's one of the reasons it was such a good pick.
I actually think it's one of the better drafts that I think you've cobbled together, Skiddy. I actually really like how you've done it with the stack. I really like that stack for you, off the Lakers stack of those guys, because they are 3 high-performing Lakers as well. So you are getting a bunch of stats there by way of maybe not field goal percentage exactly, but you're definitely filling out rebounds, assists. This is a team that does. I know it is very heliocentric sometimes in the LeBron James show, but if you look at the way that they play, they do move the ball a lot, and LeBron's always been one of those playmaking guys in his role. So he is going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you assists on that basis. And it's a very similar games and friendly to what Reeves does. And obviously, Anthony Davis, when he is performing, he is one of the top players in fantasy. He's a top 5 NBA fantasy player when he's healthy on one of those MVP tears. And if LeBron goes down with those games, like you said, who's going to be the big dog in town? It's going to be Anthony Davis, and he's going to stack you up. With the 5th pick, I did my Pacers stack that you fucked me on, you son of a bitch, with Obi Toppin. And thank you to Mally also for screwing me over of, who did Mally take? Mally took one of my other guys that I had on my, Brucey Brown. Thank you very much, Mally, you bastard. But I managed to salvage out a bit of a stack down the end there because I managed to pick up Jarris Walker with my last pick. So I managed to make 2 stacks. I managed to make a Pacers and a Pistons stack at the end of the day. And I think we said the lesson to mine is if you are trying to do this, you have to be reflexive in your drafts. And I think this is the number one lesson that we always try and say and share. Alex, you would agree. Skiddy, you would agree. You need to be flexible. You can't go on your past mock performances and take that as the Bible, right, boys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
correct.
I think it might be helpful for you to talk for a sec about going with Walker over Isaiah Jackson. He's someone who, granted, we thought that Miles Turner was going to get traded, which obviously didn't happen. But Isaiah Jackson was going in around 80 last year, and you chose his teammate and competitor for minutes with your last pick.
I don't think they like it.
I think that's talk about for a sec.
Yeah, look, I'm really unsure about what value the organization has on Isaiah Jackson. At times, they wanted to offer him a role. They wanted to, they didn't. This is where everyone was high in last season's preseason. So it's going to be that. And then there's going to be a minute share with Jalen Smith. And then they ended up rolling Jalen Smith out there to start the season off. So, and then Turner was didn't he have a phenomenal stretch for the Pacers? And they obviously paid him, so they're keeping him. Yeah. And he's the guy. And I think this is a team that moves the ball quickly. I think they go young. And yes, he is young, but he is not the player that Bruce Brown, who they've bought in, is. They've got it's not a Halliburton. They've bought in Obi Toppin, who's another power forward competitor and small, so I think there's just a reason for me to be like, you've just given this new shiny toy like Benedict Mathurin last year. They gave Benedict Mathurin more of a chance at times, I feel, than they gave Isaiah Jackson. So they bought the new shiny toy in with Jarris Walker. It's a great pick for them. I think they'll hang their hat on their draft pick working out or not working out. More they're going to be like, this is what Ajax does. And I know they've freed up some space there on the roster for him, but they still brought in another guy, and I think that's why Walker is there. So that's just a pure upside pick, and it's my last pick as well. And the other guy I was looking at if I go down the draft was Jalen Johnson there. So I'm very happy to have a look at what's going to happen in Atlanta and figure that out. But I think that's my thinking, is that like there's a roadmap for him to get minutes and opportunity, and if they don't give it to him, I can just drop Jarris Walker and pick him up when he goes on a bit of a heater. And also just tick to my stack. So I managed to make up 2 stacks. So I got the Pistons and the Pacers. My P stack. It's my PP stack. Halliburton, Cunningham, Miles Turner, Nick Claxton, who I really thought was good value there. OG Anunoby was, I think, a nice solid pickup for me. Kyle Kuzma, who I do think is going to have a substantial role this season in Washington. I think there's a really good roadmap for us to be talking about him as one of the most overall improved basketball players. He's always been decent. I think Kuz is a decent basketball player. And I think with the team that they've got now, like with Jordan Poole, it's the big 3, if you wish, in a way, apart from Dan Gaffer down there. I think you've got Tyus Jones, you've got Jordan Poole, and you've got Kyle Kuzma, and there's your team, and there's your focal points. And I think Kuz is going to benefit. Scoot Henderson, Devin Vassell after that. Scoot Henderson, obviously there in the 90s, is just huge. It's points, it's threes, it's assists, it's steals. He's cheeky. It's 3 points made and decent free throw percentage. Jalen Duren there to complement with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham for that stack. Mike Conley this late in the 140s as the starting point guard in Minnesota, I think is just value for me, and value as well in Patrick Williams. I think he's going to have a more consistent season this year with the injuries that have been around over there in Chicago, opening up more minutes for him and being healthy as well. Bogdan Bogdanovic, look, unsure, but again, there's a roadmap for him. It's him or Jalen Johnson in those minutes, but I'm kind of tied to the illusion that he's still a very good basketball player and can still get me 13, 15 points a game, 4 assists and a steal, and a couple of 3-pointers, and do someone a good free throw percentage. And Jarris Walker with my upside pick at the last one, because I don't see Isaiah Jackson giving me the same return at the end of the day. And I'd be more comfortable with just dropping someone at the end of it if that's the case. And God knows, so be it.
I'm going to compliment one of your picks, and then I'm going to insult one of your picks. A lot of people have talked about, could Jordan Poole lead the league in scoring this year with the way how wacky the Washington roster is? And I get that take. Are we 100% sure that he's going to lead the team in scoring? At pick 68, Kyle Kuzma is probably really good value. I think that's kind of his floor, but that doesn't account for his upside. If it's an even bet, you bet Poole is going to lead the league in scoring. But depending on the odds, I might take Kuzma on that. Like, he's got a decent chance to actually.
But what does he give me? But what does he give me? What does Jordan Poole fucking give me? He gives me points. He gives me threes. What does Kyle Kuzma give me? He gives me points. He gives me threes. He gives me a decent free throw percentage. He gives me rebounds. He gets blocked shots occasionally. He gets steals occasionally. He gets occasional shit that Jordan Poole just doesn't seem to give a fuck about in basketball. So for me, that's a 68 pick.
Also, too, Kyle Kuzma, when Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis were out last year, there was like a month stretch where he was averaging like 6-7 assists as well, and he was getting near triple doubles, which is just unreal. So he does have that in his bag. He just needs the damn ball.
And I think he's going to push for that Team USA spot next year. After that tweet that he's doing, I definitely. No. I'll say it now. I'll put my hat on it right now. I think Kyle Kuzma is pushing to get back into Team USA after the shit show that was Team USA just then. He represented the country well when he played. He has a very international friendly game as well. He is a switchable guy for an international, not NBA game. Kyle Kuzma is like a Carmelo Anthony archetype, big, long, rangy, can shoot, can switch, and that's what international basketball is. It's not so like ISO heavy. And I think Kyle Kuzma gives that to the table. And he's used to playing that team kind of role as well. That's just me. I think Kuz is in on that journey. Hang some shit on my pick. What was the bad one?
So I if you're gonna like pass on a pick, I think it was smart to wait until round 12 for that. But I would recommend using all of your picks and not just throwing one in the garbage. Sorry, Patrick Williams, but I don't see the point. I don't see the point in that one at all.
He could have been on the waiver wire. I was literally just looking for extra. I was looking for extra shit. Who's going to give me some steals and blocks? And I think that's where I got a little bit like, you know what? Who's going to give me some steals and some blocks? Patrick Williams plays defense okay if he's healthy. And I kind of think I just threw that. And he's a guy I'll drop, Alex. I think he's the guy who I'll drop and try and move on a better pick or someone who's on a bit of a tear more than anyone else. Skiddy, Alex. Oh, nah, there's no upside there. I don't think there's upside. I think it's pretty much one of those safer houses. He does some stuff, and you're probably likely to find Patrick Williams on your waiver wire during the course of the season in pretty much 80% of leagues. I think he's serviceable. He'll do the job for you, especially in those tight weeks. If there's like a doubleheader at the back of your weekend and he's on the draft on the Chicago Bulls team, you're going to draft him in if he's on your waiver wire.
A lot of people are going to have a week with Patrick Williams. He's everybody's favorite lady at the bar. Patrick Williams, can I invite you for this cocktail for 2 games at the end of my week, please? Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. Lessons from Stacks. This was a lot of fun. We're going to refine this play with some more, but don't be afraid to stack. It's something that they do in the NFL. The way that the season schedule breaks out for the NBA, there's only a couple of red flags. I do encourage you to check out. There's a brilliant schedule. I'm going to plug hashtag basketballs, their 23-24 NBA schedule grid. Get familiar with that in your fantasy if you haven't before. Also, get familiar with the standard squeeze. Make sure you use promo code INSIGHT for 15% off. Get yourself some gear. He's got some hats on. I got the jumper on. They've got a whole bunch of wonderful stuff you can take away with your camp, including your 4-in-1s and also your shot pourers, and also to Fantasy Scores. Fantasy Scores hacks right on into your Yahoo. Not hacks. That sounds a little bit naughty. It doesn't. It integrates is the friendly way of saying that, but it integrates into your Yahoo network. Use promo code INSIGHT for $5 off and help get the insight on your fantasy draft, your waiver wire pickups. Use Z Scores to help improve your fantasy game this season with Fantasy Scores. I'm Matty G. This is Jake Skidmore. And Alex, before you go, please plug everything that you do because God knows, Professor, you do it all. Where can we find you and get more info? I'm coming back from a relaxing summer and stuff's going to start coming out soon. But during the season, I do the weekly waiver wire on CBS and at Rotowire. And hopefully we'll have a article I alluded to earlier about why you should avoid rookies early. Should be coming out in the next soon on Rotowire.
Maybe we should get you into a draft where we just make you draft rookies. The rookies versus sophomores draft. Hey, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us here at Insight NBA. Make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. And remember, when we get to 1,000 subs on our Insight NBA, on our Insight Fantasy Sports channel, we are going to give one lucky punter somewhere around the world a personalized NBA jersey. Your name, your way, your jersey, your team, thanks to Insight Fantasy Sports.